I've used the word communication heaps of times this evening. Obviously in a respectful way. Yeah. And that's encouraged. You know, I frequently tell umpires, you know, you've got to educate the players. You know, there's no point making the same decision time after time after time if the players don't understand why you're doing it. All right, so I would expect a captain there to step in and say, can you just explain that, please? Yeah, make it clear. Now, there's a few things that weren't mentioned there that I want to raise before we finish. The one new thing that we have this year is an actual corner signal. Long corners. Long corners are now just called corners. One of the new advances that have been made in the last couple of years, when the ball goes over the back line off a defender's stick, rather than pointing to the corner flag there, where the old long corners used to be taken from, we now take the long corner, the corner, from where it went over the back line, dead opposite on the 23. The umpiring signal for this is now point to where it went over the back line and then point towards where you want it taken on the 23. Is that clear? So for a corner, a long corner, where the ball went over the back line, point to it and then point up to the 23 where you want it taken from. So you don't have to indicate out to the corner flag at all, which is what we were doing. It's fairly simple. A lot of the time you'll actually be behind the back line yourself. You know, good umpires will get to this position all the time because this is where it's best to adjudicate in the circle. Ball goes over the back line, point there.
So if it's on the outside of the net, you still down?
If it went up there on the other side of the net, yeah, of course, you just point to wherever it went out, right, and then out there. If it went 2 meters inside the corner flag over there, point to it and then to there. So that simple movement, that's all it is. Now, there's another thing.
Sorry, still a ball pass that's deliberate over the back line.
Oh, still short corner.
That's still a short corner, but you don't see many.
No, that's right.
All right? And the reason why, I talked to a coach on Saturday about this and explained it to him. Ball deliberately over the back line, the rule book says it's a penalty corner. But who's to adjudicate as to whether it's deliberate or not? All right? Because that's making umpires mind readers. So the way it's being interpreted is, and this is at every level of the game, if a defender puts the ball over the back line and puts any angle on it towards the corner flag, that's not classified as deliberate. Right? Which has reduced, once again, going back to the fact that penalty corners at the highest levels, 80% of the time, there's a goal coming from it, right? So why give somebody a chance to score a goal just because the ball's gone over the back line, right? The goalies, off the hand, you would never give a penalty corner. You wouldn't give a penalty corner, right? The only time I've seen it against if this is the back line here, just behind my heels, I've seen a ball there, and I've seen a goalkeeper literally do that. All right? So, I mean, she's worth penalising for being stupid, you know, regardless of whether she put it over the back line. Now, what was the other thing? Face masks. Face masks. I've had an issue this morning with apparently there was some big furore at a J1 game last Friday night about masks. Sorry?
Sister was umpiring that game.
Oh, was she?
And she was the one getting tooted by the other umpire, and then she told the other umpire who was blowing in her area, no, that's not what to do.
All right.
So whistle.
There's always fun and games at some levels of the game. If face masks are there as a safety measure for defenders on penalty corners, defenders also have to realise that once the ball goes into general play, if they've still got a mask on, then they are creating potentially dangerous situations with players around them that don't have face masks on, which is why players are told to get rid of the ball, get rid of the mask, chuck it over the back line immediately. But defenders with their masks on are allowed to continue with the flow of the game if they want to tackle on the penalty corner, or if they've blocked a shot on a penalty corner, moved outside the circle and passed it off. I saw a brilliant example in one game where the penalty corner hit came in. Defender was coming in out at the perfect angle. The ball was going what looked like 100 miles an hour, and she still took it on her stick and continued down here, outside the circle, and then released it down there. That's fine. There's no objective whatsoever, no intention whatsoever to slow the game down or restrict defenders from assisting in the flow of the game. What that defender is not allowed to do is then carry on running with the mask on. But what I do think, and what I encourage umpires at every level, is to manage those situations by communicating. I don't want to see penalty corners given. Right? It's a silly thing. You know, I keep going back to the fact that penalty corners are great goal-scoring opportunities. Why give somebody a chance to score a goal just because somebody's had a moment's forgetfulness? Communicate. Umpires communicate with players. Number 7, mask off. 7, mask off. As soon as somebody's played the ball out, mask off. And again, once again, goalkeepers, train your goalkeepers to clear them. No equipment in the net. If a mask is thrown off and it's lying outside the circle and then the ball hits it, that's a free hit. Right? It's not a deliberate foul, but it's a free hit. If the mask is taken off and thrown into the circle, the ball comes back into the circle, hits the mask, that's a penalty corner. Right? We don't think about deliberate. These are all moments of forgetfulness.
Even if that ball was travelling over the back line with no intentional gamble on the flow.
If it hits the mask, it's a penalty corner in the circle. If it hits the mask outside the circle, it's a free hit.
What was your take on the whole?
Well, I don't know the full situation, that's the thing.
I don't either.
I don't know. I mean, I get one side of the issue.
I think what I heard was one umpire thought that once you get outside the circle, you can't play with the mask.
That was my reading.
And the other umpire was aware that you're not allowed to
Yeah.
25,
Yeah.
23.
That's my reading of it. My reading of it is that the defender took the ball outside the circle, or tackled outside the circle, and she still had a mask on. So this umpire awarded a penalty corner
Right.
because she was outside the circle.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, that's my understanding.
And that's correct?
No, we don't give penalty corners for that. She's allowed to make a tackle, as long as it's part of the penalty corner.
Right.
Yeah. So if it's outside the circle, you give a free hit,
Yeah.
but you wouldn't give a penalty corner.
Yeah.
It says finally, and then there's nothing.
Magic word. Finally. You know, 7 till 8 o'clock. Without fail, every year I say, this will be a quick one. And it's an hour and 35 minutes. We've had some really good questions tonight. Thanks, everybody, and some good discussions. Thanks a lot, everybody. Does anybody got anything final to say before I kick you out? Oh, thank you. All right, thanks, everybody. Thanks for coming.